Most people say you need a car to live in Toronto, but there are 5 specific neighborhoods in the city where you can live completely car-free and actually enjoy it. I'm going to show you all 5 on the map today, including transit access, walkability, and what the streets actually look like. Especially number 5, which almost nobody considers, but might be the best value car-free neighborhood in the entire GTA. My name's Jordan Abrams, 9 years helping people move to Toronto. Info's down below, so reach out if you're curious. Let's get into it. Neighborhood number 1, Downtown Toronto Core. And this is probably the one that comes to people's minds most quickly when they think about walkability in Toronto and not needing a car, and for good reason. So when you're in downtown Toronto, the average detached home price is around $2 million or just over that. And you can see you can get some pretty decent houses for that price, even some with garages, but the houses are almost entirely right on top of each other, barely any space between them. Look at these two detached. It looks like the roofs are pretty much touching, but that is a detached home. More narrow streets. Like most places in Toronto, you do get a lot of greenery, which is really nice for a city this size. Now, if we're talking about a more entry point home, if you're looking at a semi-detached, like some of these, you're looking at around 1.3 million. So it's a bit more affordable, still quite expensive, and still closer to the detached home price in other areas of the city. And then the entry point for a new condo or even a resale condo is actually as low as $400,000 at the moment. You could get a 1-bedroom without parking for between $400,000, $450,000 downtown right now. So those are the average home prices. Now let's talk about transit. So you have the 2 main subway lines running all through downtown. You have line 1, which is this yellow line that runs all the way from Union Station down here to Vaughan on the west side, the northwest side, past York University, all the way to Vaughan. And then on the east side, it goes to Yonge and Finch in North York. And then running through downtown as well, east and west, you have the Bloor Danforth subway line, which is this green line here. And that goes all the way east into Scarborough and all the way west into Etobicoke. And Kipling Station is the last stop on the west side. So transit access downtown is really amazing. And then if you're trying to get out of the city, you have the GO station right down at Union. So that'll take you all over the province. And then you also have the Up Express. You can see all these different transit lines here, but the Up Express is the blue line. And that takes you all the way from Union right to Pearson Airport, which is over here. In addition to the subway lines, you do have these streetcars. We're on Dundas. There's a streetcar here that runs all the way east and west. So this is the same for Dundas, for King, for Queen, making it easy to get around, even if you're not going to take the subway. So another great feature of downtown is you have all these great parks. You have Trinity Bellwoods, tons of dogs. You have these softball diamonds here. In the summer, this place is always packed. There's the Sand Tower in the distance, just for reference, so you can see where we are. Regent Park, which is really gentrified and developed over the last 5 to 10 years with new condos, new community centers. And then the biggest park in the city, you can see, so look at the size of this, is High Park. There's so many things to do in High Park. And this is the cherry blossom trees that grow in the summer. So again, people come from all over to see these cherry blossom trees bloom. Plus you have the water right here, like a little lake system running through High Park. Look at this, right in Toronto, you have this beautiful High Park running right in downtown. And I don't think a ton of people outside of Toronto know about this. There's also all this yellow area here, and these walking paths running through it is called the path system. Especially in the winter, this is a huge benefit. It's 30 kilometers of underground walkways, so it goes all throughout downtown. There's over 200,000 people that use the path system every single day. You also get some of the best food in the world, in my opinion, in Toronto. St. Lawrence Market is one of the best food markets in the whole country, and it's right downtown. You have world-class Michelin star restaurants and other restaurants all throughout the city. So downtown Toronto, you definitely don't need the car. It's rated as a 98 out of 100 walk score, a walker's paradise, and I can tell you from experience, that's definitely true. Before we get into number 2, if you're trying to figure out which of these neighborhoods actually fits your lifestyle and your budget, that's exactly the conversation I have with people just like you every single week. All my info is down below, and I personally get back to everyone. Neighborhood number 2, Midtown Toronto by Yonge and Eglinton. So if we just go a little bit north along line 1 of the yellow line, we get to Yonge and Eglinton, which has been under construction for years. The average detached home price here is around 1.7 million, about 300 to 400,000 less on average than downtown. And you do get more space, a bit wider lots, but still very walkable and tons of stuff right around you. The entry point for a semi-detached home in Midtown, Yonge and Eglinton, just like the ones you see here, is around 1.1 million, and the condo entry point is around 500,000. You can actually get a pretty decent 1-bedroom condo in Midtown for 500,000 that has parking that's over 500 square feet, which is not something I've been able to say about Toronto for a long time. This is right at the center of Yonge and Eglinton, so you can see there's condos going up. You have access right to the subway station there. So Yonge and Eglinton is very well connected to the rest of the city. You can see line 1 of the subway runs all throughout it and straight to downtown like we were showing before. They call this the U line. You can see it's kind of like a big U. In addition to the subway, we also have the LRT, which took over 20 years to complete, and it goes all the way east and west along Eglinton. So just like the Bloor-St. George line runs east and west downtown, we now have that artery going east and west a bit further and right in the Midtown area, making it even more walkable and less car dependent than before. To get downtown on the subway is just about 10 to 15 minutes. As you can see on the map, we're really not that far from downtown. There's also a lot of nature running through Yonge and Eglinton area. So we have this cemetery path that's just around Mount Pleasant, Eglinton. Sounds kind of funny, but it's actually really beautiful. And there's running trails. You can see the park and the trail systems running all throughout, going all the way to Sunnybrook, and then the same trail system goes all the way downtown along the DVP. Also just south of Eglinton, we have this great trail that runs all throughout. So just like I was showing you in the rest of Toronto, we have so many trail and path and walking and biking systems, even in really popular, densely populated areas of the city, which is pretty unique for a city of this size. 2 down and 3 to go. And number 3 coming up genuinely surprises people, even people that have lived here and grown up here their entire lives. Neighborhood number 3, the Annex. Located right here, just above Bloor and Spadina, you have this really quaint, beautiful neighborhood. You do have some bigger properties here in the Annex, so you can see some of the detached homes. They're kind of Victorian homes. A lot of them are well over 100 years old. So the average sale price is actually closer to 2.5 million in this area. Not really a budget option, but if you can afford it, it's one of the best neighborhoods in the entire city. And believe it or not, the entry point for some of these condos is actually sitting around 355,000 to 400,000. So you're going to get a smaller unit for that price. But just the fact that you can buy a condo, get into the Annex area for under 400,000 is pretty great considering what some of the prices have looked like historically. In addition to the condo entry point, if we look at some of these semi-detached homes, you can actually get into them for about 1.2 million. It is a big contrast in the Annex between the detached homes and the semis. You're also very well connected to the subway line. So you can see here, the green line runs right south of the Annex. And then you also can get onto the west line here along Spadina on line 1. And then you can also take the Spadina streetcar all the way downtown. So it's just a very walkable, very transit friendly area where you definitely do not need a car. Just to the west of the Annex, we have Christie Pitts Park, which is a really family friendly park. At these basketball courts here, me and my friends go and play pretty often in the summer. There's trails running throughout, tons of green space, skating rink, and look, you can go skating and just have the CN Tower and the skyline right in the background. Just like lots of areas of Toronto, in the Annex, you have all this green space running throughout, all these park systems pretty much everywhere. You can walk just a bit northwest to Casa Loma, which is a historic castle that's been around for hundreds of years in the city. Gothic architecture, always one of the busiest places to go in the summer. Now, number 4. And honestly, after this one, make sure you stick around for number 5, because that one is the one I almost never hear people talk about, and it might just be the best kept secret on the entire list. Neighborhood number 4, the Danforth. Just east of Yonge and Bloor, and right on the subway line as well, is the Danforth area. The average detached home price in the Danforth area is actually closer to 1.3 to 1.5 million. Not super wide, obviously, like we saw maybe in the Midtown area, but you are right on that downtown border. So here's another detached. A lot of these are shared laneways, so you share a laneway with your neighbor. Very common in Toronto. Even where we live in Midtown, we have to do this as well, just because the city's so tight and so congested. The entry point home price in the Danforth is around 1.1 million. So that's for like a semi-detached house like we see on this street here. You're obviously close to your neighbors. Sometimes you have parking, sometimes you don't, but it's only gonna ever really be one parking spot that you have. The average condo price in the Danforth is just about 630,000, and you can get those right off Danforth Avenue, which is a really central location. You can see this is mixed between residential and commercial, like a lot of the condos are, especially the newer ones in the city. You're super well connected to the subway. You have all these stations running throughout the Danforth: Greenwood Station, Coxwell Station, Donlands, Chester, Broadview. You can see how close this is. This is Yonge and Bloor, the dead center of Toronto, and then just right over here is the Danforth. You can get to downtown from Danforth in just about 15 to 20 minutes. Then we get to the Don River Trail system, and this is crazy. Like, look at this. We have this trail system where the Don River runs all the way down to the water, and you're super close to it by the Danforth, and this connects to tons of other trails throughout the city, connects to that Mount Pleasant Cemetery that we were talking about earlier in Midtown. You can really get anywhere you want. If you love biking, it's really convenient. If you love walking or running, it's just really beautiful having all this nature so close to such a connected and downtown area. Also, if you're familiar with the Danforth, you'll know that it's known for a specific type of food, which is Greek food. There's a Greek food festival that happens every single year on the Danforth, and it's some of the best Greek food you can get in the whole country, I would say. One more to go, and this last one genuinely surprises people every time I bring it up. If anything so far has caught your attention, reach out directly. Numbers on screen right now. Area number 5, Downsview. And this might be a bit controversial to people, especially people who have lived in Toronto for a while, but hear me out. Downsview has really developed over the last bunch of years. See these bungalows, much wider than downtown, much wider streets. You have lots of nature right beside you, lots of parks. And the average detached home price in the Downsview area is actually just around $1 million. So that's a huge difference between downtown, and look at some of these beautiful homes you could get into. And if we look at some of these semis in the Downsview area, you can get into these for just around $900,000. So definitely a more attractive price point, some of them in the $800,000 range even. And the entry point for a condo right now, right around the Downsview area, is actually $300,000. And yes, you can actually get some 1-bedroom condos in this area for $300,000 to $350,000. And this is probably the best value in the whole city at the moment if you're looking for a new condo. Now, the main reason you don't need a car here is you can see right at Downsview Park Station, you actually have line 1 of the subway, the yellow line, running right through it. So you can literally just walk to the subway, get straight downtown in probably about 30 minutes, right to Union. So that's made this area super accessible. And you have Yorkdale Mall right there, which is really convenient. You can also get north if you're visiting people in Vaughan, because the subway on the west goes all the way to Vaughan, to the Vaughan Metro Center. Just a very well-connected transit area that not a lot of people think of when they think of areas where you don't need a car in Toronto. Now, maybe the single best reason to be in this area is Downsview Park. Look at this huge park that you have. You have biking trails and running trails throughout, baseball diamonds. Look, there's a new pickleball complex. Pickleball is going crazy here like it is in lots of areas. The Hangar is one of the biggest sport complexes in the entire city. You have indoor beach volleyball. You have Hoop Dome right beside it, which in my opinion is the best indoor basketball facility in the GTA. I used to go there with friends to play pickup all the time. You really have everything. Right in here is where the beach volleyball is. They have indoor soccer fields, they have indoor hockey rinks, so just like an amazing sports complex. And there's this whole park system running right beside the Hangar throughout Downsview Park. There's also a bunch more coffee shops popping up throughout the area. This is kind of the main plaza in the Downsview area. So you have a McDonald's, you have Boston Pizza for a restaurant, you have a Starbucks. So it's not the same as those areas closer to downtown where you have more individual shops you can walk to all the time, but you can just hop on the subway really easily, and you have this really convenient plaza if you want to get your shopping done. And there's just more space here, and also just a much lower entry point when you're talking about property ownership and cost of living. Today we talked about downtown Toronto, Yonge and Eglinton in Midtown, the Annex right by Bloor and Spadina, the Danforth just east of there along the Bloor-St. George subway line, and lastly, Downsview. 5 neighborhoods, 5 completely different ways to live in Toronto without a car. The right one depends on your lifestyle, your commute, and what you actually need from where you live. If you want to figure out which one fits your specific situation, that's exactly what I do. 9 years helping people get into this market. All my info is down below, and I personally get back to everyone. Hit the thumbs up if this helped, and subscribe. New Toronto real estate videos every Tuesday and Friday. I'm Jordan Abrams. I'll see you around town.